Yes.
Who's the pen?
There's no motion, so it looks like a song.
Okay, cool. It doesn't have to be really detailed. Don't worry. Okay, let me know. Oh, we're ready.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Miami Lakes Education Advisory Board Student Subcommittee meeting. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. The time is 4:43 p.m. My name is Maritz. I'm the student representative to the Town of Miami Lakes Education Advisory Board. This is my last month in the position. So I'm very excited to pass on the torch, and the committee will be voting on the next student representative at their next meeting. For some of you guys, you guys may already know, we did one of these meetings at the beginning of the year. I believe in like September or October, where we had all the schools present to kind of have an introductory meeting of what the Town of Miami Lakes could be doing to support our schools better. And then through those meetings, I can pass that information along to our education committee, who meet with your principals around every 3 months. So we have regular meetings with your principals to talk about what's going on in your schools and what the Town of Miami Lakes can be doing to support all of our amazing schools in the town. So yeah, it's important that we get together, we hear your voices, and I really want us to do a beginning of the year meeting and an end of the year meeting to kind of wrap up the year. And I know, some of you guys are moving on to different schools, but for those of you who are not, we'll make sure we keep in touch so that the next student representative, when next year comes, we just want to have an open line of communication between the Town of Miami Lakes and especially our student leaders, because your principals come and they say certain things and, they tell us what's going on, but it's not the same as hearing it directly from the students. And we all know that sometimes we see things in a different light, and we may, notice things that we can improve on, or see issues that are happening in our schools that maybe the principals don't notice. And that's why the town, created the student representative position to kind of get that perspective of what the town can be doing to support our schools. So I'm going to start off with roll call. Hialeah Miami Lakes Senior High School, present. Barbara Goldman, here. Miami Lakes Educational Center is not here. Miami Lakes Middle School is not here. Our Lady of the Lakes is not here. Miami Lakes K-8 Center. Bob Graham. Awesome. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. We have 4 schools present. So I want everybody quickly to take a look at the agenda. The first item is order of business. So if there's anything in particular, that you all want to add to the agenda, any ideas, anything like that, this would be the time to do so. No pressure, it's I want this to be open conversation, and we have just some basic, outline to guide us through the meeting. Is there anyone here, anything in particular that they want added to the agenda? Someone's good. At this time, if there's any public comments. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna move on to introductions. You all already heard a little bit about me. I'm a current junior at Hialeah Miami Lakes Senior High School, and the incoming student advisor to the school board of Miami-Dade County, which is really exciting. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. So I'll pass it around to my left with Miranda, and then we'll go down the line if everybody just wants to quickly introduce themselves in just a couple sentences, and then we'll get started.
My name is Miranda. I go to Miami Lakes K-8 Center. I'm salsa club captain. I'm student council president, and I'm NJHS historian. That's me. I'm Adriana Morales, and I go to Miami Lakes K-8 Center. I'm NJHS president. I'm in salsa, and I got a 5 today in biology. My name is Julia Perez. I go to Miami Lakes K-8 Center. I've done salsa for 3 years. I'm on the basketball team, and I'm student council historian.
I'm Sarah. I go to Goldman, and I'm currently, my shirt is not updated, but I'm SGA vice president, and I'm a junior, and I do swimming, and I'm in HIP, and I'm in this club, and
my name is Martha. I'm also from Barbara Goldman. I am the class of 2026 president. I am the manager of the soccer team, and I'm also an officer in animal rescue. Oh yeah.
Hi everyone, I am Roberto Carmona. I'm a junior at Hadley Miami Lakes. I serve as secretary for our student council, at HML. And I will also be serving as the incoming president for the District Student Government Association for Miami-Dade County. And aside of student council, student government, I do Model UN, Spanish Learner Society, SNHS, and a lot of things at HML. But yeah.
JJ?
JJ?
I'm JJ. I'm in seventh grade. I go to Bob Graham Education Center, and I'm the captain on my law studies team.
Awesome. I also want to introduce Ayo Pastora, who's with us today. She's our town liaison to the education committee, and she does a great job. So come give her a round of applause. Thank you, Ayo. So great introductions. Next, we're gonna go around again. Not everyone has to speak, but everyone can. But just quickly hear from each school if there's anything you guys want to share, you know, things that have been going on at MLKH, student events, just general updates of the school.
Like this week has been like just full testing. On Monday, we had like they do all these biology boot camps and algebra boot camps. So this week has either been we're testing or we're in a class all day, literally all day learning about that subject. So yeah, other than like student events, I know like you guys went to the salsa show and stuff, but everything else has been testing.
Yeah, we also took our PSAT for our vocabulary honors class.
Yeah.
Grade fours.
Are all of you guys in the vocabulary office?
Grade fours.
Ayo, that's one of our programs, right?
The AP, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, right. This is the vocabulary class for the middle schools. I feel like we fund that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know that there's like an AP, but I don't know if it's, I don't know what school does.
No, I think yes. Can you guys tell us just quickly a little bit more about the vocabulary class? Like, what do you guys do in it? Can you talk to me about what kind of a day-to-day class looks like?
So a day-to-day class, so our teacher, Ms. Romeo, she prints out 25 words that we have to learn and they're really hard and we have to memorize them. We have to make up a story using like 15 of the words and then we present it in the class. And then we make quizlets about them so that we learn them, we search up the definitions and then we study them and then we have a week to study and then we have our tests usually by the end of the week. It's like a new set of 25 words every week. Yeah. And then there's a vocabulary section and then there's like sentence completion with the words. So we know how to apply them in sentence.
Okay, and everyone who's in the vocabulary class takes the PSAT?
Yes.
And is that an elective course or how do you guys get put in?
You have to have a teacher sign it for you, seventh grade, but I don't think they really count it as like a.
But you guys sign up for it or they just put
Like, when you have your schedule selection seat, you like ask one of your teachers, oh, can you sign me off for vocabulary? Or it's like they won't put you.
But that's because you guys want to take it.
Yes.
Okay. And this is obviously separate from your English.
Yes.
Okay, okay, good to know. Goldman?
Well, we just finished all of our AP testing. We were doing makeups for this week and now all of the officers are helping out with like we were saying, with graduation and cap and gowns.
Getting the seniors ready.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And also it was nice to hear that you guys do at your school, because I went to Bob Graham and like I never was able to do anything like that. Like I did the PSAT, the first time I took the PSAT was last year and I was
Yeah.
junior.
same.
That was sophomore year, so like.
Their scores were in, we had almost a perfect score on the PSAT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 10 points off,
Like, I just
Yeah.
think that's
1400, like,
Yeah, in my middle school, we didn't have that either.
yeah, I didn't even know what the SAT was in seventh grade. Like that was completely like I was thinking of that. But yeah, I took the PSAT literally last year. And now is when I took the SAT. So I mean that's cool to hear that you guys did that. I wish I did that in my program, but that's really cool.
So yeah, graduation,
Mhm.
anything else from Goldman in particular, any thoughts? No?
I mean, we just got over that bump of like all the testing, all the prepping. I know like I had my history EOC just recently and there was a lot of like after school tutoring, just a lot of testing stuff. But now we just like finished all of that. I don't think there's any more makeups, but yeah, now we're just kind of like settling down, like making sure like everything's ready for graduation with the
Yeah.
offices and stuff. And then the school's just
But the teachers put like a lot of like after school tutoring, like lunch tutoring and all that to make sure that we were prepared for the AP.
and a lot of people, the history ELC currently. I know that there's like, with my teacher specifically, I'm not sure about everyone else, but there was a 90% passing rate, so.
Awesome.
Shout out to Mr. Wild.
Very cool. Rohit?
Yes, so I guess it's HML turn. So just echoing what everybody has said, AP tests are done, EOZs are done. So everybody's just like kind of relaxing from just this very intense testing period. We also had a really good passing rate for the US history class, and the just this pre-PSAT class, particular class. I think it's amazing because it like sets you guys up for just the PSAT and the ACT in general when you get to high school, which becomes a major stress when you go to like junior year, senior year, and start worrying about colleges. But more about HML per se, I think that the main two things that have happened at our school recently were the groundbreaking that happened, I guess, I think 2 months ago, right? 1 month ago? Okay, 2 months ago, where we officially inaugurated the HML planetarium, and alongside other programs that we are finalizing, which is also our courtroom, our official courtroom, and those things, we received a lot of support from the district and a lot of support from town of Miami Lakes, I believe, as well. So hopefully by when I graduate, we're gonna have our planetarium and our courtroom ready for the next generation of Trojans that come. And I think that the other main thing that has happened was our middle school Model UN Conference Trojan Month, which I know a couple of the people present in this table, I guess 4, had the opportunity to attend, and I think they all placed. So it was amazing. We were able to engage across over 250 middle schools from the area, and it was amazing to see you guys compete and just engage Model UN competitive. So just today, we had our last pep rally. We announced who are going to be the next officers for the 2024-2025 cycle for student government, and we're getting ready for graduation. We still haven't distributed cap and gowns yet, but we're probably going to be worrying about that next week. And yeah, there are big things happening at HML over the next year. Just next year for a Model UN program, which Maritz and I probably have the honor to serve as vice presidents for our next year's Model UN team. We want to go out of state, so hopefully we're gonna have the chance to go to NIMA in Washington DC and Georgetown, and there are also plans to go to New York Model UN and see how the things are gonna go on the north side of the country and the more competitive national Model UN circuit beyond the Florida circuit. But that's pretty much my missing anything.
No, I just can you talk? I think it's good to just put on the record so I can bring back to the committee about Trojan Month and how the town foundation, the role.
Right. So one way in which we were able to fund the expense for Trojan Month was through the Miami Lakes Town Foundation. We received a $1,500 grant from the organization, and that way we're able to finance those things as lunch, the banners that we had. And I believe there are other clubs that in the Miami Lakes area that also benefit from this grant. So if this is just an example of how Miami Lakes can contribute to your school and can contribute to different programs at your school. So if there's a specific thing that you want to start out for next year, not specifically like middle school month conference, but I don't know, a salsa show, for example, you guys can apply. I mean, the sponsors can apply for that grant, and hopefully you guys are able to receive funding.
Yeah, I want to say that now that you mentioned that, maybe that's something that I can bring back to committee of maybe having EAB play a role in advertising that to the schools. I think you guys should all take a note of it and take it back to your sponsors and your administrators. I think a few clubs from Goldman have gotten that grant at HML2, but every year the town foundation gives away thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to be to a school, it can be to any organization, but a lot of them do go to our schools. So, and your teachers can apply, whether it's, let's say you're you said, Martha, you're the soccer manager or something. Let's say your soccer team wants to hold some type of event or is doing, let's say your soccer team decides to do a community service program by the soccer team, something like that.
Yeah.
You all can apply to that grant. So same thing goes for any of the other clubs. And every cycle that opens up in around October. And the town loves funding the schools. So maybe that's something that at our next principals meeting, I'll bring up so that your principals are on the lookout for it and share it to your schools, because it's free money that can help your programs. So thank you, Roberto. And you mentioned the USS free EOC. I mean, just out of curiosity, can you tell, like, what did you get?
Perfect score.
No way.
So yeah, anyways, so thank you, HML, JJ, anything coming out of Bob Graham?
So at Bob Graham, we just finished, we're wrapping up our FAST and EOC tests. Our last EOC is next week in middle school. And, we have a really good, I guess, passing rate, I think above like 80% of all students got like either a 4 or 5 on our FAST test. We're just speed running to the end of the year. We have like 9 days left and we're just putting all our energy into, end of year activities, field day. We have the 8th grade dance, the 5th and 8th graders went to Orlando. There was a band, chorus, geography competition, so just all the fun end of year things.
You guys did a geography competition at Bob Graham?
Not at Bob Graham, but our team went,
The geography,
yeah, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
HMO was also there.
Awesome, very cool. Just out of curiosity, JJ, and it's okay if you don't, but do you know anything about a vocabulary class at Bob Graham or something like that exists or not to your knowledge?
I think there is, I'm not really sure. I think there
Okay.
is.
We'll follow up with that because, while you guys were talking, I did get confirmation. So the town, the EAB, our committee is currently funding a vocabulary class in both of the K-8s and the middle school. I know for a fact, I don't think that's being executed at the middle school. Obviously at K-8 they are, but that's something interesting so that at the next meeting, I'll maybe see if Bob Graham has a vocabulary class.
Liza Hernandez might. Is she the one that teaches it?
That's what I was thinking. I think.
Yeah.
It might be under a different name.
It was like communications.
They call it
methodology or
communications methodology.
Yeah,
They just shorten it to vocab.
so
Yeah, there was supposed to be a vocab thing. I just don't know if they want to do with it.
if they had enough quick sign up.
Right. Okay,
Do
interesting.
you
to
guys
know.
have 1 or 2 classes this year?
One.
One. Last year, I think it was 2.
So you guys currently have one period.
Yes, there's one period of all the 8th graders that have vocab.
Okay.
I think last year may have been 2.
Okay, alright. Did the thing go down just, or?
I'll double check. I think it's.
Okay, yeah, I mean, doesn't change anything for me. Okay, good to know, good updates. Next on the agenda, student member updates. I really don't have any updates other than the fact that, some things that were brought up at the last meeting, they were helpful in in helping the committee. I know Miami Middle School have brought up, they were trying to launch the culinary program. And I think that I was able to connect them maybe with some of the businesses and stuff to help them with donations and things like that. So those are just the type of, things that the town can help with. I know at the last meeting, a lot of people brought up of maybe the town can help promote our schools, which is how the digital pamphlet came alive, which the EAB is currently making. We're almost done with it. So all of your schools sent in pictures, and the town is making a really nice digital brochure to show to the parents of Miami Lakes of, what's going on in all of our schools with nice pictures and descriptions, etc. So it was really helpful in doing that. So I'm just gonna go through, and this can be an open discussion. I just put some points, ideas, concerns, and discussion, the town of Miami Lakes and its relationship with schools. And don't feel pressured if you guys don't have anything on your mind. But just out of now, is there anything going on at any of your schools, whether it's the starting of a new program or something that maybe the town can help with, especially those schools that are in the town when it comes to maybe the tracking? I know the crossing guards, especially at the K-8s, those are paid for by the town. Just things like that. I know at Goldman, at our meeting, it constantly comes up, like the traffic situation there. I know it's a constant discussion in our meeting about, we brought in our police department to talk about it because a lot of people have brought up concerns that when parents are dropping them off, a lot of parents, like, they dropped them off before and then kids are crossing the street in the dark or something like that, that is not well lit. So, yeah, and I know something also was brought up once at the PLC, the Primary Learning Center of Bob Graham by Goldman. It didn't have like a speed zone, like the sign was covered up. So just things like that. It could be support you need from the town or what the town can do to, help promote you guys or anything like that. But it can also be things like the crossing guards, traffic, So I guess no pressure, but anybody have anything?
I know for new things coming to our school, at least next year, Miss Simon's trying to make Mona UN a club. More than a class, that way they can get.
And
fun- you know, that way they can get it, like funded, I think, is what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
something,
popular suffering.
that's something that I know is new.
Okay, good. Anyone else?
So,
Oh,
no,
wait,
you can go ahead.
Thank you. About the traffic thing with Goldman, what I've just been noticing is that like, a lot of people, like what they do is like, a lot of people from Goldman, like in the mornings will get, like, will always be like interfering with the PLC, like with their loop. And I just find like, I think that's obviously like an issue, cause
Like,
obviously,
like, it's not really clear that they're separate.
yeah. Like, it's like people from Goldman are there and also like, those are like little kids, so it's like, when it's so close together and like there's constantly kids like being dropped off there or being picked up there, it just interferes and like, I just don't think it really works that well. But something that I think, other besides that, this year, the Animal Rescue Club started at our schools. And we have, like, we've been trying to find events and stuff to do with like animal adoption, but we just haven't.
It's
been
kind of
able-
difficult to,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a problem we're kind of facing. We don't really know like contacts of like.
Can you walk me through exactly what is the club? Like what?
So as of now, because we haven't found a lot of like places and events to do,
Right.
right now what we're doing is fundraising and getting like a lot of supplies for animals that maybe we can donate to
Yeah,
different
like the main
organizations.
thing now is just like fundraising and also like we had an event where like we made like dog toys and like cat toys, like we're kind of just like fundraising for now, but we wanted to do more like in the community type of
Yeah.
things. To be like more interactive with other people and like obviously animals themselves and just see what we can do. So we kind of wanted to see like a way that we can.
Yeah, any events or any.
Yeah,
kind
Did
of
you
thing
guys
that
see the one that, I don't know if it was this past weekend or it's coming up, I have no idea. With the one in
It
Medley,
just happened this time.
it just happened, this had, and it was like a huge event for dog adoption specifically. To clear the shelters, and it was major, and when I was in high school in Key Club, we did volunteering at that one in Medley.
Yeah.
At the, what is it the Humane Society, is that
No.
Humane Society?
It's
No,
the
it's different.
Miami-Dade. Animal Services.
Miami-Dade Animal
That
Services.
facility shut down now, but the new one's in the route.
The Medley one they use as like an overflow.
I don't know, well, that's the one that had the event, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe talk to somebody in the Doral one, I guess?
Yeah, I think the town can definitely, I feel like maybe there's some room for, I like the thing where you guys make dog toys.
Mhm.
Maybe it's something that, at our town events, like we have our, we just did our spring thing, but we have our bike rodeo coming up, which is an event the town hosts with like bikes, yes, okay, so maybe that's something where your club can have a tent there. And we can promote it as like bike rodeo, but also like the Bowman animal kids are gonna be there giving out
Mhm.
free dog toys.
Mm.
Just a thought, that event's in September. I don't know if you guys wanna bring it back and let it simmer,
Yeah.
and that's something that I promise you guys, I can connect you guys
I
with.
mean, that sounds great. Like, I
Yeah,
just remember in
definitely.
middle school, like in Belgrade, I would every year, like for jump rope, like we would perform there. And like, it was really cool. There was a bunch of tents set up with like different organizations stuff, so I do think that. actually
You guys
was-
had a jump rope club at,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we would go to like, it's not a thing anymore.
does that not exist, JJ?
It happened,
No.
it had, I think, they got rid of it. Now I remember, it was like a jump rope club, but it was almost like choreo, like dance.
Yeah.
with
Like,
jump
like,
rope.
like double dutch, like.
Yeah, we would go to like a
And
tournament.
I think it stopped when COVID happened, unfortunately.
Wow, that was
She's
like,
back now.
yeah, that does make me really sad. That was like my entire like middle school, like we would perform and literally go to like a competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old coach, I know he retired while I was there, and then there was another coach that was kind of like carrying it on, Mr. Martinez. I don't know if he's still there. Oh, he is? Well, yeah, he was kind of carrying it, on, but like I guess like now.
You know, now that you guys mentioned that, and this is just me thinking out loud, but do you guys think it would be helpful if the town and its education advisory committee created some type of form that gets sent out to your principals every year where they enter all the clubs that the school has? So that way we can share that with, we have 12 committees, from our veterans committee to our culture committee, to our education committee, which is this one, to our youth committee, which is the one that hosts the bike rodeo,
Mhm.
to like, I don't know how many more committees. Elderly affairs committee, maybe that, and then we can have that, and when we have events, when the town has events, they can go, oh, let's see, maybe we wanna involve some schools, and they can go down the list, oh, they have you know, a veterans committee at this school, let's get them involved for our event. What do you
And
guys?
like performance events, like we did Cards for a Cure,
Mhm.
and we got, I mean, we have a connection through one of our teachers is,
Yeah.
right,
Color.
Alonzo. So that was a connection, but you never know, like, what if you need performers? They always asking, oh, wait, that's an easy way to find out.
What do you guys think about that?
But I wouldn't even limit it to clubs. I would even include like, because what if there's not enough to form a formal club?
Like
and you have-
classes or like groups? in-
Exactly, like special interests or like groups of special interests. I wouldn't even like limit it to just clubs,
Yeah.
you know, or classes like law studies class. It's not a
Yeah.
club, but it's a class.
I think that's
think
something we can
very good.
definitely, I really like that.
But I was gonna ask, are your interests for animal rescue like domestic animals, or are you guys like wildlife also?
We don't really have like a specific, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's just like animal rescue in general, and also our club started this year and we haven't had a lot of opportunities, so like for now, it's just kind of like,
You're getting,
yeah, we're
the
kind of just
most-
getting the hang of it,
The
but like.
most that like we had, I'm sorry for
No,
that.
it's okay.
My cousin has a, what do you call it, a nonprofit. And I talked to her about it and like, we got some stuff for my cousin's nonprofit in the beginning of the year. But other than that, we haven't really like, you know.
cause there's also like Sawgrass Rec up in, they're in Broward, I don't know if it matters. And then there's one, when they were little, we took a tour of it. The I can't remember the name, but it's like a pelican hospital off Key Biscayne. Like there's also like some like wildlife, animal places that I'm sure would love your help too. And they aren't as popular as Miami-Dade Animal Services, so I'm sure that they would soak up all the help that they can get from you guys too.
I think this is good. I think, yeah, I like that the directory and that way the town, when opportunities like these come up, because there's so much going on constantly. I mean, like for Hispanic Heritage Month, every year Cultural Affairs Committee does a different thing. And I know in the past they've done like a salsa night. So that would be a great opportunity to bring a club like that. You know, same thing like they also do like an event for African American History Month. And I think like they do like, they've done a jazz concert and maybe something like Woman has a jazz band, something like that. So I think that's, okay, that's something good. I know we were still going down the table. Were you gonna say something?
Yes,
Or-
so back on the line of funding, I know we talked about the Miami Lakes Foundation, but is there something that clubs usually struggle with is fundraising, and it usually becomes a very important thing because to do stuff you need money. Our club this year, Money UN, is trying to get out of state and participate in bigger conference. For that, we do need financial assistance. So I was thinking that beyond, and this is not, of course, doesn't apply specifically to Money UN, but to other clubs, maybe clubs that are just being formed at different schools. There can be sort of a link with the town that the town can provide them, not specifically with funding, but with sponsorship opportunities. With different
That's really
businesses
good.
across the town.
That's really good.
And it can be like, I don't know, like Chipotle night or that kind of stuff. But with different local businesses here at the town of Miami Lakes, and that can be an opportunity. So it will, I imagine, like, I don't know, an application process or through that very same form that we just talked about of registering every club at every school. And clubs can, again, through a similar process as the Miami Lakes Towns Foundation, instead of a grant, just sponsorship opportunities or fundraising opportunities that they can do at different events the town has.
I think that's really good. I think like that's onto something. If we create some type of directory where maybe clubs from our schools can sign up and ask for materials or money, and then I think we can share that with our Chamber of Commerce, which has all of our businesses.
That's
And-
I help you, you help me situation.
In marketing and
Yep.
I think that's really good.
That's-
I'm thinking now in my mind, like even at a district level. that's-
Yeah.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing is 2 directories, one for like clubs to get involved and one for businesses to sponsor our schools programs. There's always something going on. I think, yeah, Okay, that's really good. What do you guys think, everybody?
I think so too. I think not even programs as it is, like sports also,
Yeah.
a lot of sports need
Infrastructure, like some people need,
fundraising too.
I know the town funded. Something at K8, like the lights or something in the new cafeteria one.
Yes, that was, yes,
Yes.
they did the new, I think it was it the speakers maybe?
Yes, I think
I
the
think it was
town.
the speakers, that was the grant that we got.
I think the town did that. I think.
Thank you for that.
The town
We used it
funded,
last night.
at Roman, the town funded, could it be possibly those pods you guys have in the library? Like study
Honestly, I
pods?
really could not tell you.
Do you
because
guys
I'm
have
not
study
sure.
pods in the library?
We do,
Yeah,
but
I think-
actually one thing new that we got this year was we got a bunch of like Oculuses, which digital
like
marketing,
the-
yeah. And they use it with digital marketing. I'm not in that magnet, so I don't know per se what they do, but like I walked in and they're doing like, I know it's something like with Mr. Pinder.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Exactly what they're doing, but I know that they.
No, you
might
walk
even-
in there and you just see it.
Yeah, we have that. It's
And they
no,
have so many, but like,
we have
I
this
wanna
one.
ask someone what they're really doing, but I know. it's-
No, I wanna know too.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
But that was really cool.
Good, okay, so maybe, yeah, I like it, I like all the ideas. JJ, is there anything you wanna share of like an idea of maybe anything the town can help with Bob Graham, or just if anything comes to your mind?
I think in terms of funding with clubs and programs, we're pretty good. Our law studies, STEM, dance, we get a lot of funding. Our STEM team is in competition. It feels like almost every weekend. But I feel like,
You guys have a strong PTA too. so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I feel like, what we're trying to do next year is get more sports. And you know, for some K8s, it's tough to get, sports teams. It's hard to, find coaches among the staff.
for sure.
But we just got our courts like redid, we got them painted. And so there's a lot of interest shown among the students, so we're looking to get a basketball team, a girls soccer team next year, so.
Maybe there's some partnership that can be established between you guys and the high schools as well. Like Goldman and HML, where maybe some, people from the sports teams can go and help the kids.
I love that idea.
And it's, and it helps the high schoolers as community service. And I feel like, it helps, especially when it comes to the K8s, I mean, for those who don't know, K8s are funded very differently than middle schools from the district level, which is why you see K8 struggle with getting as many electives as, let's say, Miami Lakes Middle School, because you guys are funded on a different scale. Miami Lakes Middle School is funded on a middle school scale, and you guys are either funded at a unique K8 school or even at the elementary school, something like that. So there's less money's available, so whatever we can do, and I know at our first meeting, a lot of the complaints from Bob Graham and K8 was like maybe a lack of availability of the types of courses being offered, that sometimes it can be a little limited.
It's a lot of double dipping on our end,
Teachers too,
like, you
sure.
can, like, that's me, I'm here, law studies, model UN,
Sure.
civics teacher, like, you're double dipping a lot. Miss Romeo has like 6 electives on her.
She doesn't have a planning period anymore.
No, none of us have planning periods this year.
Double dipping and then, so I'm not a public school teacher, but I'm gonna speak for Mr. Brady that, and I'm sure you
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
you can vouch too, that
Yes.
all the practices, after school practices are his
It's a-
volunteer time and
Yes.
weekend practices and,
Performances on Sundays and Saturdays.
we've, even gone to Goldman to have, practices on the weekends, like, that's all his volunteer time, and he gave up a concert, during Trojan Month, he gave up a concert he wanted to go to be there. So it's a lot of volunteer on the teachers.
It's nice for them to have support from the high schools.
Yeah.
I've seen it from both high schools that are present here, clearly with Goldman and the Muncie, with HMO and the Muncie. And a lot of our former students at Goldman, like that entire salsa show last night, all the volunteers were from Goldman. Like they were all my former students and they ran that show for me. Like
Choreographed a lot.
everything, they helped choreograph, like the support, you can't even complain, like the support from the 2 schools is beyond, and it's very helpful.
Awesome, yeah, maybe that's something we can know what I'm thinking in the town of, maybe a way to support our teachers, if it was fighting or something, but I'll take a note of that. Quickly, when it comes to concerns, and like I said, we do these meetings specifically because, a principal at the end of the day is always gonna say that everything after school was perfect and that everything's great and that it's all cherry blossom trees. That may not always be the case, but at the same time, don't feel pressured like, oh, let me come up with something bad that's going on in my school. It's not like that. But just in general, are there any concerns of things going on at your schools that possibly just you want to let us know on that maybe the town can help or something that we can bring up to your principals when we meet with them. And we're not gonna be like, oh, like Martha said, the Dr. Sanchez, it's not like that. But just like in general, are there any concerns, things that that you don't like that are going on that can be improved upon? Stuff like that when it comes to classes or infrastructure. I mean, chilling.
So this doesn't necessarily concern the town per se, though some opportunities for collaboration, of course, remain, but it regards specifically with ESOL students. I'm a former ESOL student. I came from Cuba 3 years ago. And because of the crisis that many Latin American countries are currently suffering, Miami-Dade County has had a very big influx of immigrant students that are making their way to our classrooms. And through my personal perspective, ESOL students do have a lot of intellectual and academic potential when it comes down to classes, academic performance, and being involved in schools. But sometimes the students tend to be overlooked and underserved because of their second language condition. They find that they have to learn a new language, and sometimes they might be left behind by the school system. And that's something that I see very prevalent at HML. And I'm sure that in a lot of public schools here in the Hialeah area, in the Miami Lakes area, there's also a very big ESOL population. So me directly with the district, I'm trying to work in ways in which we can alleviate this ESOL problem that our district is currently suffering in improving the conditions that ESOL students have in the classroom. But I think that's something that again, it's not really a concern issue per se, since I believe that all schools here do pass through this specific thing, which is like ESOL student population. But something that I was thinking that we could do was sort of a community-wide drive for school supplies. Some of these kids arrive to this country, they don't even know the amount of supplies that they need in the American educational system. Like I had like one notebook for like every subject when I was in Cuba.
Me too.
So yeah. So doing like a community-wide school supplies drive, and then we can distribute this school supplies to different schools in the area, in the Miami Lakes area, in the Hialeah area, and that way that's we can organize it through different clubs. The schools can be like Spanish Learner Societies, or like I myself have a nonprofit organization to help immigrant students, and we can host it at different schools. Then at the end, we can sort of bring all these supplies here at town and store them in a warehouse or something, and then we can distribute those supplies to the different schools from the area. So that's an idea that
I like it. Maybe something else we can do is in the past, the education committee has hosted a town hall session for parents. So we did one on mental health. We brought in mental health experts from FIU and UM for parents to come and listen to those professionals. I can tell you it wasn't a big success. Almost no one came, but I feel it's because it wasn't promoted properly. But maybe if we have a parent night specifically for our ESOL population, where the town hosts it, and then we have our schools invite those specific parents, and we can bring in, some types of experts or someone from the district to maybe talk about what the assimilation, I don't want to call it assimilation, but what like the adaptation process is. Okay.
Can I add something? What you said literally like made me remember something. I just remember like the problem with like the ESOL students being just put in these classes, like literally just not like just a complete shift. I just remember last year there was a new student who came in my class, and she literally had a write computer like super like literally right then and there. And my teacher, like it was really hard. Like my teacher, she didn't speak any Spanish, but like she just like was not very compassionate, and what would happen is that the girl, she would come talk to me and be like, always put her in my group and be like, oh, like, I don't really know what to do, like, just make sure she turns things in, and just like not really helping her like actually excel in that subject. It's just more of like, help her get the grade, help like,
Right.
and like, obviously, like, I'm a student, like,
Mhm.
and like, I care, like, I obviously will help her, but it's just like, like, I just feel like my teacher should have like, or just the
Done
school
more.
district could have done, like, there should be something in place for that.
Mhm.
Like, I'm more than happy to help, like, that class, like, I was more than happy, but like, it's just, there should be something in place for that. Because it's very sudden, the change from one country and then coming here, and a bunch of things, like, we have like a billion clubs, a billion programs, you have to buy a billion things, like, there's things that you learn here that just wasn't a thing.
It's not even a language thing, it's just a culture.
It's just a culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like a whole new perspective, and like, they come into this and like,
Yeah.
they're just expected to catch on.
I don't feel like there's no real transition process.
Yeah, and from like a
Exactly.
first person point of view, like I went through that myself, that like my teachers like really
Yeah.
couldn't help me, like.
I had the opportunity to talk to teach social studies teachers during the Miami-Dade Social Studies Fall Conference about how to better engage ESOL students in the classroom and how to better engage ESOL students in the school. And really, it's a matter of understanding that not every teacher that has an ESOL student speaks Spanish, and not every ESOL student that arrives to the classroom speaks Spanish. Because we also have a rehabilitation field ESOL population, and not specifically here in Florida, but in other parts of the state, you have other parts of the United States, you have Arab ESOL students, Muslim ESOL students that do not specifically speak Spanish, even though that's a larger
We
population.
had a huge influx from Ukraine in the last
Correct,
year.
yeah. So it's really a matter of developing
A transition process.
a transition process, but also a pathway to not specifically a pathway, but a framework of how to approach the students. So there's, for example, this PowerPoint program that it's embedded in the PowerPoint that as you're giving the presentation, it translates everything automatically. So that's something that not every teacher that was at the conference knew, and that they were eager to implement for the ESOL population at their schools. And something that I've done at my school is after school tutorings in Spanish for ESOL students. And I've also had the opportunity to talk at my school to all the ESOL students at HML about how, because we are taught, so as an ESOL student that just arrives, we are told to adapt by an adult. And there's usually not that support system that comes from another ESOL student that has gone through the very same things and that has arrived very recently and that has quote unquote succeeded at the American educational system. So I had the opportunity to speak to HML students, and that's something that I'm advocating at the district. But me and other ESOL students from my school that have also been successful in adapting and assimilating to the American educational system are more willing to, through the Miami Lakes maybe, go to the different schools in the area and do what I called at the time ESOL assemblies for the different ESOL students at their respective schools.
Very important.
You're a model student.
I have an idea, because I feel like I'm just as involved as you guys, but it's just, I love hearing you guys and then I get ideas and so I just want to share them with you. But it almost sounded like what you were saying, honey, that like you were like a big sister kind of, like in class.
Like a buddy program.
Like a buddy,
Yeah.
and so that put it in my idea, like, I'm gonna use Spanish as an example, because I know that there are Spanish clubs. And like Rodrigo said, no, Spanish is not the only ESOL, but that's the example I'm gonna use. Could there be, with like a Spanish club or Spanish Honor Society, like one of those members being buddied up with like a newly admitted, newly enrolled Spanish speaking student? And maybe they could like walk together for the day,
Like a peer support system.
Yeah.
buddy, like a buddy,
program. I like
yeah.
Because a lot
like
of
big
times
sister,
you're
big
gonna-
brother,
You
buddy,
go towards what your norm,
yeah.
so you're gonna talk to students who speak the same language as
Right.
you. But I think sometimes it's good for them to have that outside perspective. And I've seen that happen, like I have a student specifically in mind who got here, guys, a year ago. She just busted out 5s on math, on language arts, and on civics. I almost keeled over. She came, we were jumping up in the air.
I know it's all.
And all in English, that girl, and she refuses to use a dictionary, refuses, she puts her foot down. And she has completely branched out, and it's amazing. And it's been every day, like tutoring every week with me, and with language arts and with math. But she really puts in that effort because she wants to succeed, you know, and she was like, I'm like, you're going into our society, right?
Mhm.
And she goes, ¿qué es eso? And I go, ¿qué es eso? Come here. I printed it out. I go, this is what I need you to do. She went home, wrote me. And I go, I took I printed her grades out for her. I signed everything I needed to sign for her. She sent me the essay. I printed it for her, stapled it. I go, here, please turn in your packet. And she went, turned it in. She had a 4.0 GPA. She was the easiest in you could have. And they don't know these things because the culture different, right? Like, she's like, what is honor society?
Well, not everybody has a teacher like you that will guide them like that.
And now, you know, she wants to do salsa, so you see her getting involved because she's finding out things that she didn't know. She literally came in at the end of last school year and she has exceeded whatever expectation you could have even thought of.
I like the buddy system, and maybe this is also at a district level, but maybe like a packet that everybody gets.
I'm working on that
Something like
actually
that.
currently, so that's something that we can exploit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great conversations. Anybody else, any final thoughts, ideas, concerns, problems? Everyone's good? Anything from you?
I am gathering right now the list of I know you mentioned the digital school flyer.
Yeah.
But while I have you guys, I think there's like 1 or 2 schools I still need that from.
What, you need we have pictures for all the schools.
I have pictures for all the schools. Give me a second.
Do you need more pictures?
No. What is it that you
What
need,
I need.
and what schools? Watch every little two are here. I think.
Hold on, I have Bob Graham. I have Miami Lakes Educational Center. I have Miami Lakes Middle, and I have Miami Lakes K-3. Now, as a disclaimer, I know HML, for example, had sent me stuff. It's just now we went into specifics. We want to make sure we have the same info like all across the board so that the flyer is, you know,
So, yeah.
neat. So I had specific questions that were sent to HML. And what's the other school?
And then what, Goldman too?
And Goldman, yes.
And do you have the email in front of you, the one you have the Goldman? Maybe you can let them know. who
Miss
you-
Soto told me she would help me.
Okay,
So I
Okay.
guess with her, and if you can get on that, then
Yeah.
we're done.
okay, awesome. Okay, great. Well, yes.
One thing that I would like to say is that like sometimes in the bathrooms, there's no soap.
You know, I have the same issue at HMO.
And it's so weird because they just put they just put sanitizer.
No,
it's not
sanitizer.
It's a bottle of sanitizer with like 5-year-old soap in it. No, I just feel like I just
Or
feel
like-
like our school needs to have more soap in the bathroom.
You know what, I can agree with that. I'll bring it up with the principals. My principal, actually, we have like a thing. Every time I go into the bathroom and there's no soap, I send him an email and the subject is no soap. I go, Mr. Ramirez, there's no soap in the third. So it's like a thing. He goes, how many more emails are you gonna send? I go, put in the soap.
That's
So I
why
keep
I
up,
know.
yeah. That's why. But yeah, I think that's actually
Universal issue.
Do you guys have that too?
Oh,
There's never.
there's like 5,
And
like
it's not even only soap, it's tissues too,
there's
like.
like.
Like
in the
paper
bathroom,
towels?
yeah.
is the novelty.
No, yeah, but in the
Like,
bathroom,
you're-
there's like.
yeah, that's a stretch.
containers, And one is.
No, like the paper towels.
toilet.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yep.
yes, at HMO, yeah,
I
I'm
thought
with you
I thought
guys.
the tissue
Ray,
bag.
do you guys have that too? Do you guys have soap in the bathroom too?
Constantly, the soap and paper towel always getting depleted.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's also, and you know, this is the part where I try to be like objective and also look at, you know, Wisconsin's issues. I think oftentimes it falls often on our peers who break the freedom, they go to wash their hands, they like grab all the tissues, or I don't remember what's that challenge where people take the soap like the lakes, no,
DV's like.
Devious Lake, yes. That was like a whole thing, I remember. So at HML, we don't even have, it's not that there's no soap in the machine. It's not the machine is like,
There's no.
but other than that, I promise you guys, HML. Anyways,
It seems to be an issue.
but yeah, so it's
Yeah,
across
it's
the
not
board.
just the nature.
And I think that at our next principal meeting, I'll be sure to bring that up. And maybe that's something, and it sounds silly, but maybe even something at our district meeting we need to bring up because there's no soap, like it's like a third world country, but yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, baby.
That's a good point.
So other than that, everybody else good? No announcements, so I guess I don't have any announcements. If everybody, we're gonna, well, talk about the 1 meter trend. If everybody can sign in before you leave, and then for those of you who are still gonna be at your schools next year, there's probably gonna be a meeting like this again, I hope, hosted by the new student rep sometime in September. So, yeah, and I'll thank you guys all for coming. So I'll adjourn this meeting at 5:32. Let me know when we're off.